All right, we are live for the Monday, July 12th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, on Monday and Tuesdays, Mr. Big Marcel. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? All good. Had some good fights this weekend. The final of the Euros as well. So we're done with the football stuff at this moment. Yeah, it was a good weekend, man.
So I don't know a lot about football by any means, but I told my my fiance is like a big soccer fan, football fan. She's Portuguese, right? So she was rooting for them.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we were rooting for Netherlands, and then they got knocked out. But we didn't really have a dog. We were just watching the game. But I called it, Marcel. I said it's going to be a 1-1 tie. And they're going to go to penalty kicks. That's what I said to her. So I predicted it. It's not like I didn't put money on it though. I just predicted it. I should have put money on it. Oh well, next time. No, I'm kidding. I think I'm good with my MMA betting, guys. No. But yeah, welcome to the show, guys. We're going to talk about UFC 264 today. So much to talk about, Marcel. I mean, we expected it to be a crazy card. I would say it definitely lived up to the hype. So let's dive right into it, man. Let's just do it. Bro, I got to give you some props here. Marcel went perfect 12-0, guys. So let's give Marcel some props, man. You know, Marcel, it's hard to get a perfect card. I think I did it once or twice now. And that's in 9 years of picking fights or 10 years of doing it now. So it's tough, man. You know, I pick every fight in the card. Obviously, I've been doing it forever. But even though, you can be good at this, you can still get one or two wrong, right? The fact you got 12 is very impressive. So congrats, man.
It's super hard and super unexpected.
It is.
The last time the last time I had it was with the McDonald against Safadine card in Canada. That one.
It's been a while, right? I've only had it twice, I think, ever. So it's hard to get a perfect card. Alex, what's up, man? Glad you're here for the chat, bro. I don't know if you were in Vegas, Alex. Were you? You might have been there. I can't remember. Anyways, man, let's talk about this card, Marcel. Let's just get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Main event of the evening. We both predicted Dustin would win, but let's be honest, guys. We didn't expect an injury to end the fight. Having said that, there's a lot to unpack here. So, in my opinion, Dustin was absolutely dominating the fight up to that point. Two of the judges scored 10-8. I think it's definitely not a bad scorecard. You know, I don't know if I would have. I think maybe 10-9, but I don't think 10-8 is a terrible scorecard. So the point is, Dustin was on his way to winning that fight, in my opinion. I mean, Conor can always land a big punch, but Dustin, as soon as that fight hit the ground after that failed guillotine, it was just Dustin's fight. So I think Conor made a huge tactical error there. But as far as the break goes, now we're seeing videos of an elbow blocking the kick. So I have experience with this myself. My right arm I broke in 2013, Marcel. I broke it when I was punching a guy in sparring, and I went for a body shot. He put his elbows up, and my elbow hit right here. And this is such a pointy part of the body, guys. You could definitely break bones on. We've seen it happen before. So people are like, oh, how could this happen to such an elite athlete? I mean, it could happen to anyone. We're human beings. We have bones. Bones do break. For me, this is the only bone I've ever broken. Maybe that's Conor's only bone ever. I have no idea how many breaks he's had. But, it's unfortunate the fight ended that way. Having said that, guys, you check my article at Spectation Sports, I'll plug it right now. I don't think we need to see a fourth fight. I think we know now who the better MMA fighter is. How many times do we have to run it back? Do we have to do 20 fights, Marcel, before Conor finally gets the upper hand? I think we know now, guys, that Dustin Poirier is the better fighter. You guys give me your thoughts, but I don't have interest in the fourth fight at all. Maybe 5 or 6 years down the road, guys, but I have no interest in it, and I agree with your answer, too. I thought so, too. I thought he could have ended it before the horn, too. So, yeah, but give me your thoughts, Marcel. Talk about the stoppage and the fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't have to see a fourth fight. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Listen, man. Honestly, if this was the other way around, do you think Dana would have won a fourth fight? Definitely not. He wouldn't care, because Conor won then in that way. So it's just stupid, Dustin looked good, like you said. Could have scored 10-8. I scored it 10-9 myself. I think that's because. Listen, man, Conor got pretty battered in certain moments in that fight, but he also did some stuff back. He was always also fighting dirty again with grabbing Dustin's gloves.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think Dustin also called him a dirtbag in the post-fight interview because of it. Yeah, we don't have to see a fourth fight. Definitely not. And we won't see it anytime soon because he's injured, obviously. No, it's 2-1 for Dustin. I think for me, this chapter is closed, to be honest, And listen, man, if Conor dominated the first round and he got that injury, yeah, I could have seen that they wanted to have a fourth fight, but it's not that way, Dustin looked good, I think. Only Conor started good with this leg kicks, but Dustin took over. I think we should be done with this fight. Stop making fights because you want the other fighter to win. It's just stupid.
Yeah. So John Kavanagh came out saying yesterday, the Conor's coach, obviously, he said that there was an ankle injury, I believe he said, during their training camp. But now we know it was a broken leg. So I don't know. A lot of people are saying they can't make excuses. I'm not so sure. I mean, really have no idea. But there was probably something there pre-existing that obviously just shattered whenever it hit the bone on Poirier's elbow there, Marcel. It was probably bound to happen at some point. I mean, these guys, like, the amount of kicks and punches and stuff they throw, they're bound to break a bone here. It's just crazy how there's been, I counted it, guys, 4 broken legs in UFC history, right? Anderson Silva, Corey Hill, and then obviously Weidman, and then Conor now. 2 of the 4 broken legs happened this year. How crazy is that, right? So a pretty crazy way to end the fight, guys. But again, I feel like I don't want to see this fight again. I'm looking forward to seeing Dustin and Conor. Let me just check what the betting line is. I know it's out right now. Let me just double check that line, guys. Dustin Poirier right now, -158. Charles Oliveira +134. Go ahead. What did you say?
Then Carlos Condit also broke his leg, or was that in
possibly? I mean, there might have been other fighters that happened. Those are the ones I can remember where the fight ended because they broke their leg.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, Condit did actually. I don't know if he broke his leg though, but something. It was like an injury for sure. So it might have been, Deer against Woodley, Deer Dancer says only if he beats Charles for the title will they book a 4th fight. Yeah, I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying, guys, like I feel like there's other options for Conor. Whenever he comes back, there's a Nate Diaz fight. I think that's a better fight to make. I think Tony Ferguson is a good fight too, guys. I think that's a nice fight. There's a lot of guys. Justin Gaethje's still a good fight too. That'd be a fun fight, right? So there's lots of fights for him. We don't have to run this back, in my opinion. Or against his Dustin Oliveira, amazingly cool fight at +155. I like Chuck. Submission prop, perhaps. Yeah, I have to look at the fight more, but he definitely has a chance to submit him for sure. I mean, Poirier's been submitted before by Korean Zombie, and I think maybe one other guy I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, or Khabib, of course, the guy I can't remember because he's not fighting right now, I guess. But yeah, Marcel, as far as Dustin's performance, I mean, I thought he looked phenomenal. And what do you think about the fight with Charles Oliveira? Because I think that's going to be next. So do you think he should be favored? Because right now he's the favorite.
Yeah, I think he should. I think Poirier should be favored, to be really honest, man. I think he has both stand up and on the ground very good. You know what I mean? And Charles has improved stand up as well, but I don't think he's on the level of Poirier there. But on the ground, Charles is a huge threat. You know what I mean? So it's a super fun fight. I think I would really love to see it in November or December, or whatever. But yeah, it's a great fight, to be honest. And let's hope they can put it together.
Now, as far as the trash talking stuff goes, we saw some videos now, guys, and I'm sure you guys have seen it floating around. There's like an alternate angle of where Conor's talking to, I guess, Joe Rogan on the ground when he had the broken leg, and he starts saying he's going to, I think he said he was going to shoot Dustin and his wife in their sleep or something. Like, he said some pretty vulgar stuff. So do you think it's gone a little bit too far with Conor now with the death threats and stuff, or do you think it's just part of the game?
I have zero compassion for him. I really mean that. I have zero compassion. When listen, man, now maybe I sound like a dirtbag. When he broke his leg, it was like karma, dude. I don't give a fuck. If you cross certain lines, I really don't give a fuck, man. And even some people I've watched with say worse things. I'm not going to say that here. But I really have zero compassion. You know what I mean? If you at a certain moment, and it's fake as well. You know what I mean? Why you are nice in the second fight and you are like this in the third fight? It's just stupid to me, And you really, I really don't like it. That's why I also really don't dig those pressers, and that's why I said last time, the old Conor doesn't exist anymore in the octagon, man. Mm-hmm. The old Conor is gone. Those guys have all surpassed him. You know what I mean? Yep. And I can't have any compassion with him, to be honest, man. Sorry, I might sound like a dick, but normally I would be like, listen, with Jacare, with Weidman, with Anderson Silva, I feel really bad for them. I don't feel bad for Conor at all.
So here's the thing. He's lost to Khabib and Dustin, right? So you can't really say he's shot, but I definitely think it's fair to say he's not in his prime anymore, guys. I think he still beats a lot of guys. I think he beat Tony Ferguson. I think that's a winnable fight for Conor, and that's a top 5 guy, right? But I think the height of his career really was 2016 when he fought Nate Diaz, Eddie Alvarez, and even the year before that where he fought Aldo. They fought those guys. He fought 4 fights within a calendar year. That was the best version of Conor we ever saw. The mistake he made, and I don't know if it was a mistake necessarily because he's made millions off this guy, potentially could be even more, I mean, with what he could make in the future. But going to boxing and fighting Floyd Mayweather, taking a couple years off of MMA, Marcel, it really, set his MMA career back. So he did make a lot of money for that Floyd fight, and the UFC did as well. But yeah, I mean, since then, Marcel 1-3 now. He did knock out Cerrone, guys, but come on, you guys all saw that fight too. Cerrone just kind of turtled up after that kick and didn't seem like he wanted to be. It was a shoulder strike, like basically finished him. Like that was a weird finish in that fight. He just didn't want to be in there. So we've seen the last two fights, Conor's cardio, the durability, everything's just going out the window, guys. So again, I'm not going to write him off completely. He's only 32, I think, right now. He's turning 33 tomorrow or on Wednesday, actually. So. This injury is going to be interesting, though. Like, how's he going to bounce back from it? Because you look at a guy like Anderson Silva, never bounced back from his, really. A lot of guys just never bounce back from these serious injuries. Maybe Conor's the guy that can do it. Let me get this comment. Borgen says, Conor was nice the first time. It was a form of manipulation. It didn't work, so he reverted back to intimidation. Also didn't work. No, it didn't. I will say he looked pretty good in the feet with the kicks in the first 2 minutes of the fight. But the mistake he made, guys, was going for that guillotine. I don't know what he was thinking. Going for a guillotine on Dustin Poirier will never work if you're Conor McGregor. End up on his back, Dustin smashing with elbows. What was he thinking? The last point I was going to make, Marcel, let you finish it off. He needs to go to a different camp. He needs to get away from the yes men at SPG. Don't get me wrong. John Kavanagh is a good coach, guys. Don't get me wrong. But it's time for him to go to a different camp. GSP said this. Eddie Alvarez said this. You've got to go to a camp where they're pushing you every day. You don't want to go, where they're beating you up. That's what he needs to do, not where he's just beating up some guys. He didn't need to do that. Let me get Cole's comment, then I'll let you finish, Marcel. Let me get Cole's comment quickly. Cole said this is the best way for Conor to lose. Him and his fans can claim he never lost, say it's 1-1, even though he was well on his way to winning. I agree with that too, Cole, because there's some ambiguity. Cole says, even though Kavanagh for some reason thinks they're going to finish Dustin in the second, that is delusional talk, guys. That's crazy. I even saw some Irish fans were like, hey, that's not what was happening in the fight. Like, you don't have to lie to the fans. Marcel, you got the final word on Dustin. Conor, go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, to reply to what you say about switching camps, the thing is, the dude has a lot of money, and he's not taking directions from anybody else. I think so. I think it's a very tough task to go to another camp, and gotta really respect the guy if you go to another camp. I don't see it really happening, but it would be good for him, of course. But man, the press conference, man, before the fight, that was absolutely horrible, to be honest, man. It was like kindergarten bullshit, It wasn't even clever or even funny, man. Actually, Poirier made the more clever comments about Conor than Conor did about Poirier, and that's Conor always out-clevered people with presses, with replies and that kind of stuff. I wasn't there this time, so I don't know, man. But also, with the second round would be different. What did John Kavanagh thought, man? That Conor could bring a knife or something in the second round or something? I mean, what the hell is this delusional or something? It's so stupid, And it's also, man, why the hell does Joe Rogan go sit with Conor and interview him, man? I wouldn't even give him that chance at that moment. You know what I mean? And definitely if he's screaming, things you can't say on camera. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. The UFC just loves to bang on Conor. They're also, you remember they were so disgusted with him throwing that trolley through the window, and they keep promoting that shit on every single promo I saw for this fight. It's like, I wonder who are the real dirtbags here. You know what I mean? But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, let me get Cole's or Daniel's comment, actually. Sorry. Hey, Daniel. Conor's ego is consistently been. Poirier rematch was a terrible idea. Could be off a year layoff, reckless. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he's obviously a great fighter. He thought he could beat them, but I just saw a really good quote on Twitter, guys, from Dominic Cruz. Let me read this to you guys. It's a really good quote. He said, after multiple losses like that, you tend to sit on your hands and shut up. We're not seeing that from Conor. We're not seeing the silence. We're not seeing humility. There's a position where you get smashed sometimes. You have to accept that as a fighter. This is part of why we do martial arts, is to accept the losses and the wins and grow from them. When you don't accept these losses, how do you grow? How do you fill the gap? I just think that's such a good quote, man. That is so true. Yeah. And you know what? That goes beyond MMA. That goes in just life in general. For me personally, whenever I make a mistake, I try to learn from it. You know what I mean? Like, I always want to learn from it. And I'm a guy that really – I used to be way harder on myself, but I still am. But when I do screw up myself, I'm hard on myself because I don't want to make that mistake again, But we're not seeing that from Conor. It's just excuses. That's all we're seeing from the guy.
You know, man, it's like when I made a mistake, I'm pissed about it and I want to do better. You know what I mean? But it's like the thing also is like if you now ask the certain Conor fans, and it's pretty bad in the Netherlands over here actually, man. With those fans, they are all jump on that hype train when Conor came on, and they are now like the UFC is nothing without Conor, and that the UFC was never there without Conor. And it's like, guys, it's not because you started to watch the UFC when Conor was the guy. Doesn't mean that the UFC wasn't anything before that. You know what I mean? And of course, he elevated certain things in the UFC. I'm not going to downgrade that at all, you know. But certain things, you know, I don't get that, man. It's like it's really for me, MMA is also a lot about respect, you know. And I know for most guys, mixed martial artists, it's about respect. And with Conor, it's totally not. And with his fans, it's actually more worse, even more worse. You know, I said on a Dutch forum there was they showed that clip with RDA and Conor before after the weigh-ins, and I said like RDA is such a great sportsman and that awesome guy, really respect him, and somebody on there said pull out Merchant. That's like, dude, serious? And another one. That's like, dude, he pulled out twice out of in 13 years. I mean, what are you talking about? And then he deleted his comment. It's like those people, man. Those people pissing me off, and there are so many in the Netherlands over here, man. For those kind of people, the how do you say that? The newspapers on the internet over here, man. Nothing anytime about MMA, nothing about the UFC, about Bellator or whatever. But when Conor fights, we have a whole page about Conor. Conor's bought new boxer shorts. Conor bought new clothes. Conor bought a new hat. Conor bought a new watch. You know what I mean? It's just stupid to me, you know. And the narrative over here is that he is he's the biggest star in the sport, but he's not the biggest fighter and the best fighter in the sport. You know what I mean? And that's what the narrative here is, you know. And it's really annoying me, to be really honest. Sorry, guys, if I'm going too much.
It's okay.
It's really annoying.
Okay. You know, I was just going to quickly say, you mentioned Rafael dos Anjos. I forgot to even talk about him. He's another guy that Conor can fight instead. Like that fight's right there for Conor too, guys. Like that's a fight. I still want to see that fight. I think that'd be a good fight. Yeah, that's a great fight. There's so much heat there. So I think the goal was if he lost to set those guys up probably. But now that he broke his leg, they probably have to do something else, right? So that's what I'm thinking. Dustin's going to fight Charles, and Conor will have to fight someone else. We'll see what happens, guys. Let's move on from this one. I'll get this last comment from Daniel. He said ignore them, Marcel. Yeah, he's right. But, you know, Conor's good for clicks and that's good for views and eyeballs and everything, but the good comes with the bad. All right, let's go to the other fight.
You know what it is,
thing.
but those people also don't want to learn, man. If you tell them like, go back, watch all their fights, learn about the sport. Now Conor is it's like, oh man, and it's not even worse as it's on Twitter, man. But it's really in the Netherlands, it's bad. You know what I mean? And I don't know what that is. It's like. It's bothering me for years, honestly, and many people know it's bothering me for years. And I get always called a Conor hater over here. I'm not a Conor hater, but I'm just a realist. You know what I mean? And that's all.
That's fair. All right, let's talk about the other fights in the card. Let's talk about co-main event. I mean, this fight was the fans were booing this one pretty hard. Let's be honest, guys. Gilbert Burns defeats Stephen Thompson by unanimous decision. I mean, he did what he had to do to win the fight. It wasn't the most exciting fight. I don't necessarily agree with all the hatred toward the guy now because, you know, how else do you beat Wonder Boy? You're just supposed to stand with him? Like, this is the way to beat him. So he did nothing wrong. And I think I saw you tweet about this too, Marcel. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. If you're a fan paying to see a ticket, at that point of the night, you're probably a little bit tired, probably a little bit drunk. You want to see someone get knocked out coming off that two-basic fight, and you just see a guy, you know, basically lay on top of the guy. But at the same time, this is MMA, guys. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, he had to do what he had to do to win. I don't have a problem with the way Burns fought at all. Not the most exciting fight. It's not going to earn him a title shot or anything, but he did what he had to do. So, Marcel, your thoughts?
Gilbert showed an amazing fight IQ in this fight. You know that? I mean, this is the way how he was supposed to win. And he pulled that off. You know, that impressive to me. You know, it's not easy to win against Thompson. And people are like, it's boring. Listen, man, the only guy who had a spectacular win against Thompson was Anthony Pettis, and he was behind on the scorecards, and he had a kind of a, I don't want to say fluke because that sounds really nasty, but it was kind of a fluke knockout because, you know, it was, let's be honest. And that looked good for Pettis, but nobody has a as a fun experience with Thompson if he wins. You know, you can see the Woodley fight. Woodley had a boring fight with him. You saw Darren Till. He had a close fight with him. Wasn't that boring because it was in Liverpool and those people went crazy about that fight. So the people were happy with that one. Then you have to fight with what's his name again? He lost another one. It was also another
Matt
great
Brown.
fight.
He lost to Matt Brown earlier in his career.
I can't remember that. I don't know anymore which one I mean. But you know, against Wonderboy, it's hard to win. If it's a good fight from Wonderboy, he's mostly on the winning end of the fight. And if it's a bad fight, he's mostly on the losing end of the fight. You know what I mean? For the viewers. So it's a perfect game plan by Burns, man. I was really 50-50 on this fight. You know that. I picked Burns because I thought if he could use his ground game, he could win this fight and he couldn't get a decision. I had a feeling he could do it, but I was really on the fence about it as well because Burns loves to fall in love with his striking all the time. You know what I mean? And that's not a good thing with Thompson, with a guy who has more the reach advantage and that kind of stuff. But good win by Burns, man. What can you say, man? He came back from the Usman fight where he got stopped. And a bounce back fight against Thompson is super tough, man. But he did it, you know.
He looked good.
Him. Yeah, I mean,
it was I think you made a great point. Fight IQ. I mean, that's it. Yeah. It was a close fight, and he got the takedowns and in a close fight, and you know had enough control where the judges ended up giving it to him. I thought it was 30-27 for some reason. It's 29-28 across the board. I don't know why I was thinking that. I guess you had 30-27. Yeah, I think I did score it because I think there was that one round that ended with them punching each other like two robots, Yeah. So maybe that's the round they gave to Thompson. Let me get these comments. Alex says, I felt Conor's loss was similar to Ronda's. Her aura left and then she got finished by Amanda. Yeah, but I agree in a way, but also at the same time, I agree with Cole earlier when he said because the loss ended with the injury, there's always that sense of like what could have happened. So I kind of agree with Cole a little bit more on this one, although, you know, it's a good point too. What are you going to say?
The only difference is that Ronda totally vanished off Earth after that second loss, and Conor keeps talking all the time, you know. And Ronda also had a really difficult time to admit that she lost for some reason, you know. I have the feeling she still don't want to talk about those fights. So I don't know, but I'm like, you can rather be quiet than talk a lot of shit while it's not the way you should do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You know who else fell off the face of the planet and popped up on Saturday night? Bjorn Rebney. We'll talk about that little tweet.
Yeah, what the hell, man? What the hell?
I had to do the story on it today. Chris told me to do it. I was looking at his Instagram. He hasn't posted in years, like on his Twitter in years. He was part of that MMA FA or something. That was like a fighters association, and the GSP, TJ, Cain Velasquez, Soriano. I can't remember, but didn't end up working out. But we'll talk about that in a second. Get these last couple of comments on. Oregon says I can see UFC wanting Burns Edwards. Yeah, it's possible because you know Edwards is not coming off the most impressive fight. I still think that Edwards. Well, I still think he deserves a title shot. Covington's getting it next, though. And I think you're right about doing it in the same card as Covington Usman, too, because it's like insurance in case someone gets hurt. I kind of wish they gave RDA a fight for this card. They could have given him someone on the card, like, just so he fought. You know what I mean? But I guess he got paid probably something anyways for making weight. You going to say something?
No.
Okay, let me last comment here. Daniel says, as the foreign fighter who's getting booed, double booed due to grappling. I don't like the fans had Burns' decision on Tapology. Nice job, Daniel. Nice sharp read, guys, on that one. He wishes he bet on it. Yeah, I mean, we all have those fights. Hey, Ken Sure, what's up, man? He says 1.8 million pay-per-view buys says Conor isn't done from Moses of Dana White and the UFC execs. Yeah, he's saying do the fourth and fifth fight. You know what? I will say this. If there's going to be any fight where you're going to have the first time 4 and 5 fights happen in UFC history, it could be this fight, you know? I just don't want to see it anytime soon. I'm not saying like a couple of years down the road you can't do it, but right now I just think there's more interesting fights, guys. That's my opinion. Now, Tai Tuivasa, man, wow, what a knockout. Unbelievable. Greg Hardy actually rocked him, Marcel, in this fight, and he did the chicken dance and then just landed an amazing combination. Greg made it like a mistake where he just like leaped in. You can't do that because you got to tie it. It's that hard. So, unbelievable knockout and such an amazing celebration, guys. Jumping on top of the cage, drinking a beer in the octagon with the shoey, which I think is disgusting, but I think it's cool to watch, but I wouldn't do it myself. He's been doing it all week. Dude, that seems like a bad idea, especially during like these COVID times where like, I don't want to think about it, but what a knockout, man. Give me your thoughts.
he normally does it with spit as well. He spits first in the shoe and then he does the beer in it. So it's even more disgusting. I'm going about the fight, but did you also saw after the fight when he got a shoey from somebody and somebody put some Dustin Poirier hot sauce in it?
It's so gross. I couldn't believe that. Oh man, like beer, like I don't mind the taste of beer, but beer with hot sauce and a shoe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the adrenaline rush, right? But yeah, I mean, you know what? He was the first guy who was ever wasted by the time he got to from the octagon to the exit. He was completely drunk already, Marcel. But yeah, I mean, what a knockout. What's next?
Yeah, amazing. It's an amazing knockout, man. I think he got, like you said, he got rocked, he got wobbled, but he came back. Perfect knockout. Somebody in the top 15 for sure. Who you have? You can Pavlovich, for example.
I was thinking that too, Marcel. Oh my God, that would be such a good fight, man. Someone's getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man. Give me some more options for this guy, man. That's a crazy one.
Walt Harris, Sergey Pavlovich, Spivak he lost to, Ivanov he lost to. Which end there between Ivanov and Spivak?
Aspinall.
Aspinall would be cool. I think Aspinall would be cool, man. Young up and comer against Tuivasa, who was once a young up and comer. He's still young, but he had 3 losses in a row. Now he has 3 wins in a row. So it would be fun, man. Who's at this moment the bigger prospect?
You know what? Here's a couple other guys. I like the Walt Harris one too. Walt Harris is ranked 11 in the division. I don't know how, man. That's crazy to me. The other guy is Augusto Sakai, who I think is kind of a fraud in the top 10 too, guys. He could fight him at number 9 and get in the top 10. I think they really do like Ty. He's really popular with the fans. I think it's time he gets a big push. He did have those losses, but he's learned from them. He's gotten better. He wasn't like Conor making excuses. Ty went back to the grind and got better, and I like what he's done. Let me get these comments, guys. And Shiro says, Ty kills me. I can't stand the shoe. It's gross. It's so nasty, but it's so jokes. Me and my fiance were watching. We were laughing. It's really entertaining. Like, the guy knows how to entertain the fans. It's not just what you do in the cage, guys. It's also what you do with your personality too. And this guy has a great personality. I love this guy, man. Kenshiro says my parlays from prelims and main good until Greg Hardy failed my parlay. That sucks, man. And 3 people spit in the shoes before Ty drank the beers. Yeah, I couldn't do it, bro. Daniel Edwards says, to be fair, UFC between O'Malley, Tuvesa, Pereira, McGregor, they had a good cast of characters. Oh yeah, we'll talk about those fights. Go ahead.
Imagine when you're drinking, you feel the other people spit in your mouth.
Bro, Marcel, we have a PG rated show here, guys. Come on, Marcel. Borges has Tuvesa versus Bozer. Yeah, that'd be a good fight. I think Bozer also deserves a top 15 guy. I think they both do. You know, they both do at this point. Tuvesa is only 28. Yeah, and he's still young, man. He really is. Great crossover appeal. Seems like a good guy. Oh, the Spice Girls entrance was awesome. That was one of the better theme songs. Like, again, I watch every card of my fiance now, which is awesome. I love her, man, and she's great. She's Portuguese, so she does all the interpretations, and she's great. It's funny in that Jennifer Maya fight, she wasn't there. She was actually eating dinner, and apparently the interpreter said something wrong because Thiago Akamura messaged me and was like, the interpreter he messed up. Jennifer Maya doesn't want a title shot next. She wants it in one more win. So because I was like, why is she asking for a title shot? Anyways, but yeah, I think that'd be good. Anything else you want to say about this fight? Or you want to move on to the other fights?
We can move on, but I really enjoyed this fight.
I did too. Fight. It was a lot of fun, and he definitely deserved the bonus for 50K. Okay, Irene Aldana, I mean, she would have got a bonus. Actually, Dana White said she was going to get a bonus, and then reporter was like, "Oh, she missed weight and blew her cover," and
I was like, snitch.
I know he snitched on her a little bit. I mean, it was a good question that he asked because he didn't really snitch on her. He was like, "Does because she missed weight affect who she's going to be matched up with?" And then he was like, "Oh, she missed weight. Yeah, no, she doesn't get a bonus." So, I mean, it was a great knockout, though. I mean, like I said, Marcel, I picked Yannick. You obviously got the right pick here. I thought Yannick looked pretty good. Like, she was doing exactly what I thought. High work rate, but you know what? She wasn't as strong in the clinch as I thought, and Irene really was strong there. And then that left hook and the grounded pound. Wow. So, I mean, she hasn't fought the champ yet, guys. I know she lost to Holly Holm, but I think she could fight the champ. He's saying Aldana at 145. I mean, 135, but 145 too. Yeah, sure. I mean, if she can't make 135, why don't they just do, like, what's the difference really? Like, they can just say, okay, we'll fight for Amanda's belt 145 instead. Like, I don't know. She said she had her menstrual cycle. That's what she said. Yeah. She said she had her period. She said, and Yana was like, that's bullshit. I've had my period during fight week and I didn't miss weight. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is something to that. I'm not a woman. I don't know, guys, but I'm sure there is something to that. But at the same time, I don't know if you can give a title shot off of weight miss. That's the thing. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's difficult, man. The thing is that division is pretty difficult because you have such a dominant champion over there. Aldana looked really good, I think. The thing is, normally you would say like when somebody misses weight, you might favor the other, but I totally had a difference here that she actually weighed in at 139, I think, and there was still a lot of time to go, but she just said my body can't go any more back, so she didn't try to get to 135. So I was pretty confident in my pick because of that as well. The thing is, the right thing to do for the UFC is to put Aldana against Germaine de Randamie. That's the right thing to do, and let the winner of that fight Nunes. But we all know there is no contender actually for Nunes. Nunes is going to fight Pena. I already give you my pick, guys. Nunes is going to win that fight. And then probably Aldana gets it next, because what they're going to do, for example, imagine you do Aldana against the Randamie and the Randamie wins. They have to do Nunes, the Randamie for the third time, and they don't want to do that, So that's the thing. And you still have also Aspen Ladd. So maybe if Aspen Ladd wins against Shea Son or Shea Son wins against Ladd, we can do her against Aldana. I don't know. Maybe.
Dude, and you're forgetting about someone else. There's one other fighter she's coming back this week, guys. Miesha Tate's fighting this weekend. If Miesha Tate goes in there and makes a noise against Mary Renault, it's possible she'd get that rematch. It is possible. They fought UFC 200. Who knows?
Definitely in this division. Yeah.
Daniel says, this division's weak, man. So is 135, 145 are both really weak. Thought about Aldana. She's big enough for 145. She looked huge. Yeah, she's strong. She's big. She's good. It's just hard to give a title shot off a weight miss, but in this division, it's possible. I just think Aspen Ladd and Shea Son, the winner of that, might get it just because if they don't miss weight, Aspen Ladd's missed weight. She missed against Durandamy, right? So hopefully she doesn't. Okay, I can't wait to talk about this fight, guys. We got half an hour left. We're going to have to go through the rest a little bit faster, but this fight I do want to spend a little bit of time on because this fight was unbelievable and not necessarily in a good way because I'm going to say this. Anytime you're saying this guy is super tough, he's got an amazing chin, he's probably getting his ass kicked, which is exactly what happened in this fight. Kris Moutinho got battered from bell to bell in this fight, but my God, what heart that this kid had, man. I mean, this was an amazing fight. I love this fight. Definitely deserved fight of the night. I love that they both got the bonus, and this kid quit his job at a paint factory. He was working 80 hours a week, he said, which is crazy, plus training. Quit his job, comes to the UFC, and now he gets a bonus against O'Malley. And gets, tons of respect from the fans, other fighters, everyone. So even though he lost, we're talking about him right now. We're not talking about O'Malley. We'll talk about O'Malley in a second, but I want to talk about Moutinho, man. What a chin, Marcel.
I'm super happy for him. He got fight of the night, but I don't think it was fight of the night, to be really honest. And that's because I think a one-sided beatdown should have been a fight of the night. You know what I mean? For me, Pereira and Price was the fight of the night. But the thing is, I'm super happy for the guy. He got the bonus. I mean, $75K for a guy first UFC fight is amazing, I think. But listen, man, that he was super tough, but he could. Some guys would have been stopped in the first round with what happened. You know what I mean? So people are praising the UFC with this replacement. I'm absolutely not praising the UFC with this replacement because they are now making a kind of a narrative that they had a good replacement. Listen, man, Moutinho is not a bad fighter at all, and he has a crazy chin. Mad respect for the dude. But this wasn't a good fight at all. You know what I mean? This was a one-sided beatdown, and I was super pissed at Herb Dean that he came in 20 seconds before the third round. It's like, Herb, do you have a TKO third round bet or something? Because he could have stopped that fight way earlier if he wanted that, and then you're gonna stop that fight 20 seconds before, and it's an absolute bitch move. You know what I mean? And I was really upset with that. I kind of kept it nice on Twitter, but I was really upset by that. And I mean, O'Malley did what he had to do. He just couldn't put him away. That was the thing, and people say O'Malley's stock went down. I don't know if that's true, but a good win for O'Malley. What he had supposed to do, I think many people think. Listen, man, let's be honest. Any other guy they would have picked, he would have probably got stopped with punches. You know what I mean? Moutinho didn't. Crazy. I think your fiance was pretty. How do you say that? Proud of Moutinho.
Yeah, she's Portuguese. She doesn't. The only other guy I think there's Manel Cape, I believe, is. But also Pedro Carvalho, and she's like, "Oh, Pedro Carvalho sucks. You guys got knocked out his last fight." So she's like, "We need a new guy." And she likes Moutinho now, right? She's like, "Oh my god." She was like, "I've never seen a guy just walk forward eating punches like that." Like the guy's chin was amazing. So I mean, like I said, I'm happy for the kid, but I hate the stoppage too, and I'll tell you why. Because we've never really seen stoppage like that before. Really, like I can't think of where the ref just stops it. Like that's a boxing stoppage. You don't see that in MMA. You do see stoppages, standing TKOs when the guy's against the fence, getting unloaded against the fence. I have no problem with those ones. He was in open space. He was not done. Don't like the stoppage. Don't like it at all. So I think that was a bad stoppage, but whatever. It is what it is. Either way, the kid had a great performance. And for O'Malley, Born Again says he needs to be at least one top 25 guy before he gets top 15. I mean, it wasn't his fault that obviously Spoka pulled up. But Spoka wasn't top 15 either. So I think, it's time for you to get someone in the top 15 probably. But if he doesn't either, who knows? I mean, I agree. I mean, let's be honest. There's the least head movement we've probably ever seen of a fighter, ever. Like, I don't think I've ever seen someone just – like, this guy didn't do anything. He just walked forward like this. It was crazy. It was like a zombie coming at you. It was a bad movie, stole a decision. I agree. Terrible, terrible stoppage. Daniel Edwards, Herb Dean saved my parlay. Dude, everyone had that. It would have been – it was actually the prop on O'Malley inside the distance was minus 400, but the prop on him by decision was plus 685 or something. Like, so that would have been a big upset itself if he just made the 15 minutes, and he almost did. So I just think that it was a mistake by Herb Dean or whatever. Let's go a little bit faster through these fights. Max Griffin, Carlos Condit, a pretty solid fight between two welterweights. Max Griffin gets a late takedown, seals the deal. They traded jerseys after and signed each other's jerseys. That's super cool. Love to see that. Quick thoughts on this one.
Yeah, solid fight, man. I was 50-50 on it before, because very inconsistent both. And it showed, man. The first round was for Griffin. The second round went for Condit. And the third round was like 50-50. And then Max Griffin pretty much stole the round in the last 1.5, 2 minutes, in my opinion. Overall, a solid fight. Nothing special, I think. And a good win for Griffin. The biggest win of his career, pretty much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, a name value. Yeah, Griffin definitely deserves someone in the top 15. So I'm not sure who it's got like I don't know. Has he fought Jeff Neal yet? That'd be a good fight. Maybe Jeff Neal. Has he fought them? Have they fought? I don't think the next one here. Yeah, what do you think one fight? But I thought they would give it to O'Malley, but I actually agree with you. I thought that Price and Poirier was, because to me it was the most competitive fight in the card. This was an absolute war, Marcel. And Poirier definitely deserved a decision because he won those first 2 rounds, but that third round was about as close to a 10-8 as it gets, where it's not a 10-8, because it was almost a crazy comeback from Mr. Nico Price. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, it was a fun fight. I think it should have been fight of the night. It was very competitive. I think the first 2 rounds went to Michel Pereira, and Price almost got a draw out of it with a 10-8 in the third round, but I think 10-9 was justified. So, I scored a 29-28 for Pereira. Was like advertised, man. A fun fight for 2 fighters, which always bring the violence. So, it was a fun fight. Like I said, man, win, lose, draw, or no contest. I love Nico Price, man. Always comes to scrap. So, and I still stand behind that.
I mean, the guy is just so exciting, Like, again, he did lose on the scorecards, and he technically he hasn't won in 3 straight fights now. But I mean, we all know he's like a borderline top 15 guy. He's good. Man, Ilia Topuria is coming out party, Marcel. We both called it here. Just an absolute beatdown on Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall just going for these like weird takedowns. They've worked in the past for him. Did not work in this fight. Ilia did his homework. The kid's unbelievable. He's only 24 years old, Marcel. I think this guy deserves a top 15 opponent. And not only that, Marcel, I think we could be looking at a future champion here, guys. I honestly believe that. I don't think it's crazy to say that. I think this guy is really good. He's only 24 years old. He's already 11-0. 10 of those wins are by stoppage. He's extremely well-rounded. I honestly believe we could be looking at a future world champion here. What do you think, Marcel?
Yeah, man, we both high on him, man. Already before he came in the UFC, and I think he's an amazing fighter, man. His striking is coming together as well, And before that, he was pretty much beating everybody by submission, And now he's knocking out people as well. He's really looking good. I think he's training out of Alicante in Spain. Really good fighter, man. I really like him. I don't know if you called the knockout, but I called the knockout in the first round. We
Yeah,
both
no, I thought
called
it'd
him
be
to
ground
win.
and pound too. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. What can you say about Ryan Hall, man? I mean, it worked to many people, you thought, but it didn't work against Topuria. And Joe Rogan at a certain moment was like, both guys were on the ground, and Topuria had Ryan Hall's back, and he's like, Topuria's in trouble now. It's like, huh? What is he saying? But I don't know. But yeah, overall, good win for Ilya Topuria, and this coming out party in the US for sure, man, because many people are super high on Ryan Hall despite him being injured many times, and yeah, good fight or a good win for Topuria, and wonder what we're gonna see when we're gonna see Hall back, because I heard he got this broken hand with the only punch he threw in the fight. So
yeah,
I hope all is good with him.
That's what he said. Yeah, Topuria isn't the tallest 145er. Comes across like a star future top 5. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, there's lots of guys that have become champs that I think a lot of people didn't expect. A guy like Rafael dos Anjos, who expected him to become a champion? You know what I mean? Like, there's always these guys, but this guy is like a guy like maybe TJ Dillashaw. A guy that I think a lot of us thought could be a champ one day, or Cody Garbrandt. Maybe this guy's the next one of those guys. I think this guy's really good. Daniel Edwards thought that maybe we thought a draw in that one of those fights. Yeah. The judges never, unless it's going to be 10-8, they're not going to score 10-10 usually. Then again, Volkanovski's not tall. Yeah, I mean, he's the champ, and he's pretty short. All right, next fight. Wow, another. This guy won a bonus too. So Topuria didn't get a bonus fee. You could have given it to him, but whatever. I mean, it's tough to top this one. Dricus du Plessis, absolutely brutal knockout. Let me get this comment really quick. Topuria is what we all thought Bektish could be. Dude, very, very, very good comment. A lot of people were so high on that in their side, but he never panned out. Yeah, what are you going to say?
Don't you think Topuria looks like Patrick Cote and Charles Jourdain having a baby?
Could be, yeah. It kind of looks like he's a French Canadian. But let's talk about Dricus here. Dricus du Plessis knocking out Trevin Giles, coming across as a star, taking the mic afterwards, telling the world how to pronounce his name, telling them to remember his name. I mean, wow. 2 straight fights with the knockout in the UFC now. And you know what, Marcel? The fight kind of was how I was expecting it to go. I mean, he did win the first round. Dricus, he showed a good ground game too, which was nice to see. I mean, he's well-rounded, right? But Giles was taking over in the second round, which is what I thought was happening. But Giles was playing a stupid hands-down style of fighting, which is, I mean, does that work at the UFC level? I can't think of too many guys that works for, Marcel. Anderson Silva, I guess, is one guy. But most guys keep their hands up. And, yeah, du Plessis' guard was just much higher. And, took those shots from Giles against the fence and then unloaded and knocked him out with a big right hand. This guy's amazing. What do you think of this guy, man?
Yeah, the last person that said in the UFC, "This is my name, remember my name," when become a champion. So I don't know, du Plessis, he looked good, man. First round, like you said, very solid overall. The stand-up looked kind of weird in the first round, gotta say, to be honest, but his ground game looked very good. Like you said, Giles was kind of taking over the second round, and then du Plessis knocked him out. So it was kind of wild. I really liked it, man. I think this guy has star potential, to be honest, man. And he's from Africa. The UFC maybe can do an event in South Africa, because I mean, South Africa would be a place where they can go, and they have a lot of African guys as well on the roster, from all over Africa. So why not? And this guy can be maybe not very quick a star, but he can definitely be a main card fighter, man. If he proceeds like he's doing right now, man. He looked really, really sharp, man.
Yeah. You know what, man? I really want to see that first Africa event. There's obviously tons of champions and great fighters from there now, but I've always wanted to see an event there. And the thing is, Africa, there's a lot of people who live there, right? And I think you could see a lot more guys coming out from there, emerging as future champions, especially if they have an event there. So I think it makes a lot of sense. South Africa, Nigeria, wherever. I mean, I think it just makes sense to do an event there at this point. Or Cameroon too is another one. I can already see him, Izzy building a West African, South African narrative build up. Yeah, very possible. I think it makes sense. All right. Trevin Giles, man, first knockout loss of his career. That's crazy. I did not expect that, guys. All right. Jennifer Maya and Jessica, I mentioned this earlier. Again, the interpreter said that she wants Teleshot next. That's not true. She said she needs one more win, which I think makes more sense. It's possible she does get a rematch because that division is so shallow, but yeah, I mean, she was a pretty good fight. She deserved the win. Jessica got nasty clash of heads that resulted in a bad cut. I don't know if you've seen the memes, like a little smiley face with the cut.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. the MMA fans are mean, man. But yeah, Jennifer Maia thought deserved the decision. Some people thought it was a robbery. What do you think?
That wasn't the robbery, man. I was even close to 30-27. I had a 29-28 myself for Maia.
What round did you give Maia? I gave her the third one, I think.
I don't know exactly anymore, man.
Yeah,
I got to look back. I don't know for sure anymore. The thing is, Maia was walking back, but she was landing more, in my opinion, than I was landing. You know, I was going forward, and that's what's swaying a lot of people, you know. But I was kind of surprised the judges had it all for Maia, because there's always one judge normally who don't have it. And we lost Adam, guys. I hope he's back soon. I have no idea where he is. Yeah, I will just proceed. I think it was a close fight. Let's be honest. I think hey, he's back. Hey, what's up, Adam? Are you back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. So what I said was a close fight. I had it for Maia, but I think a lot of people were swayed with Ariel walking forward the whole damn time and Maia backing up, and she landed good counter strikes, you know. So I think Maia won the fight. 29-28 is a good score in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Brad Tavares, Omari Akmelov, split decision. It was a close fight, but I thought Brad deserved 29-28 probably.
Oh yeah.
Omari, I think maybe the first round. I can't remember which one. Actually, all three of the scorecards were different, so it was competitive. But Tavares definitely deserved to win. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like we said, man. It would be close. Would likely maybe be a split or unanimous, with Tavares winning 29-28, winning always the third round, and he did again. Yep. So that's pretty much how we said it would go. So yeah.
Like I said, he just has to win one other round. Like we talked about that, and he did. So he won the split decision. Yeah. Now, what about this fight? Because this was the last fight kicked off the card. Zhalgas Zhumagulov submits Jamor Vera. They call it a guillotine choke, but it's actually a front naked choke. That's what it's actually called. It's a very unique submission on UFC level. I don't know about this one, man. I mean, the kid was looking pretty good, and then he gets caught in this thing, but I don't think he was really fighting the choke very much. Like, he just kind of panicked and tapped out. This guy's 0-4 now, Jerome Vera. I can't believe I bet on this guy. Why did I pick this guy? I can't believe it. This guy's not UFC caliber whatsoever, obviously. He's still young. He's only 26, but this is a guy that panics, man. You can't do that in the UFC. What do you think?
Yeah, indeed, man. I didn't saw a finish in this one. I thought it would have gone to a decision with Zhalgas winning, but he got the submission in the first round, and that was a nasty choke. Let's be honest, man. But I didn't know what to do with Rivera at that moment, and yeah, good win for Zhalgas, you know, and he needed it after two losses. The first one was kind of controversial against Paiva, but a clear loss to Albazi in the second fight. So. Yeah, he needed it. He got it now, and let's see what's next for him. You know, he's a big name, definitely in Kazakhstan, and people are like, in Kazakhstan, believe me, he's a big name over there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to his next fight. This was a good win for him. Rivera 0-4 in the UFC is likely gone. I hope for him he can bounce back. He can do some good stuff in the regional scene and maybe get the second chance. We saw with Sean Soriano, who went 0-3 when he was younger. So. You don't know. You never know.
Maybe, but 0-4 is tough to bounce back from, guys. Like, I feel like he's performed the worst since that Khadis Ibragimov guy, who also, I believe, went 0-4, right? These guys.
You really love that guy, right?
That guy was. I don't know. Like I said, I thought there was some untapped potential here with him moving back to 125, having that height and reach. And again, he was using it well in that first couple minutes with the kicks and stuff, but he just panicked, guys, and. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to get another fight in the UFC after that. I'd be shocked if he. Wouldn't you be shocked if he got a fifth fight? Wouldn't you be shocked? Like, I'd be absolutely floored.
You know what it is, man. He helped the UFC out last time with Ode Osborne when they needed a fight, because I think he was already cut, and now he got it. Nah, he's not going to get a fifth fight. I don't think he will. But yeah, you never know, man. If the UFC likes the kid, you know. Yeah, and to be really honest, I don't want to shit on the dude, but the Contender Series fight, he didn't want that either. He got the win there, but
yeah, you know what? You were onto that one. Even that fight was super. The fact that it was so competitive is kind of a worry. So just a stupid read on me on that one. But yeah, Zhalgas. I mean, it was his first submission win ever in his career. So like, I don't think anyone's predicting Zhalgas was going to submit this dude. Let's be honest.
He only had one with strikes, I think, right? The submission with strikes.
They're calling those TKOs, and I think they're going back and changing all the. I don't know, submission punches, I think was, for a long time, but they're going to call it TKO submission punches. Anyways, yeah, I mean, UFC 264, guys, we got a few more minutes here, so I'll take any other questions from other stuff that's going on during the week. Any final thoughts on this card before we wrap up with UFC 264, Poirier McGregor 3?
Super fun card, man. I mean, I had fun from beginning to the end. I think it was an amazing card, and I'm really critical all the time. So I wasn't on Saturday. I really enjoyed it. Normally, you guys have to see, man. The main card over here starts at 4 a.m. So for me, it's sometimes really hard to keep my eyes open. But I haven't slept during this card. I had my eyes clearly open the whole card. So that means those were good fights. Also, props to the UFC for putting this card together, and props to all the fighters, man, for coming out well.
Yeah, I agree completely. There's just a few other pieces of news I just want to get onto. We have like 10 minutes. I'll take questions to you guys while we're here. And Daniel, by the way, said poor Soriano returns to UFC after 6 years, gets choked out. Yeah, and he was looking pretty good in the feed against Giagos before he got choked out.
I thought you were going to talk about the necklace from Jake Paul.
I mean, I had to write about that yesterday, obviously, but we don't. I mean, it's kind of fun. It's awesome. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool gesture. He's going to send it to him. But I think there's some other stuff. This is not like the case. So the news is never pretty, right? We got to mention this because this is an MMA podcast, and if we don't mention this, it'd be crazy. The guy with the most MMA fights ever, Travis Felton, age 44, committed suicide in prison on, I think it was Friday or Saturday. He hung himself. He was guilty of possessing child pornography, and I think making it too and stuff. He had a relationship with a girl under the age of a minor, right? So I have no remorse for these pedos, man. I have no remorse for these sickos. It's just worth noting. It's a footnote in MMA history. The guy with the most wins, the most knockouts, the most losses, I think too, is a pedophile. I mean, it's pretty sick. So any thoughts on this, man?
It's kind of nasty, to be honest, man. When somebody like that gets convicted, his life is pretty much over. So, and through his own fault, you know what I mean? So it's like, we also wrote about it on our website. You have to write about it because it's the guy with the most MMA fights. That's the thing. He's in the history books. Whatever you want about to do it or not, you can't erase it. So he's in the history books, and he's not likely going to be out of the history books anytime soon. Because nobody's going to do what he did. I also don't have any remorse for pedophiles or people who touch children, people who rape women and that kind of stuff. For me, it's like a no-go. And I think for many people with the common sense, that's a no-go. So, yeah.
No, I agree completely. Actually, there's some guys on YouTube that I follow that they basically pose as young girls on dating websites, and then they meet these guys and they put it on YouTube. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen these catches. Like, there's one guy, CC Unit. He's a huge UFC fan. He just met Khabib the other day. I love this guy's YouTube. I'm going to give that guy a shout out because he kills it, man. He's in San Diego, I believe. He gets guys and he makes them confess, man. It's so crazy, guys. I have no remorse for these sickos. But I will say this. And you know what? I was always like, why did this guy never get more shots in the UFC? Because he has 320 fights, right? But he only had 2 fights in the UFC. He's 1-1, right? And it's always like, why did he never get another shot? But the thing is, if you look at his record, it's the most padded record I've ever seen in my life. He fought bums, guys. He fought bums, and he really has no good wins. He only has 1 or 2 good wins. In all of those fights, in 320 fights, the best win he had is probably Joe Riggs. That is probably his best win. I'm not kidding. The guy's a scrub. He was a scrub. He's a bum. And honestly, Marcel, I don't think the world's going to miss this guy at all.
And he has 4 or 5 fights on one night, or back-to-back days as well against O&O guys, for what I mean. So it's and it's the early days, when he fought as well. So that was probably also documented differently than it is right now. You know what I mean? So, and you got medical suspensions right now, which you didn't have back in the day. So it's I don't know what to say about it.
No, I know. I just want to mention, so he does have the record for most wins, 143 ever in MMA, and most submission wins as well, 104. But he only had 8 decision wins, so he wasn't a good fighter, guys. He was a scrub who beat up bums who they literally picked out of the crowd basically to fight this guy. So he was a scrub. It's funny though, he did fight Sergey Spivak 4 years ago, Marcel, and got submitted by Spivak in the first round. The last fight of his career was a win against Shannon Rich. That guy was another scrub, Shannon the Cannon Rich. You know him, Marcel?
He fights everybody. Yeah.
He's another can. He's a can. He's even worse than this guy. His record's 58-89. I think he has the most losses. He was a scrub too. So no, I mean I don't want to rat on the guy too much because again, these guys they are kind of pioneers of the sport. But I'm just saying, I'm just glad that Travis Fulton's out of it. We don't have to ever talk about this guy again. So, but it's a footnote in MMA history. It's not pretty. There's a lot of bad people who have been in MMA, unfortunately. A lot of really horrible people. War Machine was a horrible person, Marcel. I think he's in prison, right? Like, he's in jail, right? I believe.
I think he still is, yeah.
Let me check. But there's lots of examples.
You saw that Josh Grisby is out and he has a fight next month.
That guy's a piece of garbage too. I think he's domestic violence, but he also would choke his dog out and put his dog in rear naked chokes. That is beyond messed up, bro. Like, and at
a certain moment, that dude was supposed to fight Aldo for the featherweight title, and then he lost to Poirier. I think.
Poirier, yeah, I know. That was looking back. What's funny? Yeah. So I was actually talking to my friend about that today because he was like, "Man, can you believe Poirier won?" And we watched him fight. I watched that card at my friend's house 10 years ago. We were talking about we're still fans of the sport, and we're still friends and we were talking about that fight, and I'm like, dude, you remember when he beat up Grisby? And he's like, yeah, man. And that fight with Maynard and Edgar, that card, that's one of the greatest fights of all time. That fight is sick. But yeah, War Machine, let me check. I think he is. Okay, so apparently he's engaged with someone else, and he's still in prison. But he got married again to someone while he's in jail, and he has a kid with. Anyways, let's not talk about these guys. We got a couple more minutes, guys. I know. I just want to mention the following thing just because, again, it is something to mention. Maybe quickly, I mean, I don't know if you saw this, Marcel, but Ariel, I don't know what you guys thought, but Ariel Helwani went off on Dana White today. I don't know if you guys saw this. He was pissed, man. It was pretty interesting hearing what Ariel said. I didn't really know this, but, like, Ariel said this himself. You guys see, he put it on his Twitter today. He, Dana White would instruct the UFC security guards to have him removed from the building while Dana White was in his presence because Dana White didn't want to have him in his sight of vision. So it's pretty nuts. I mean, I don't have a lot of comments about Ariel's move to the other networks. I mean, it's his life, it's his career. He can do what he wants. But I thought it was interesting that he was so open about this, and he did make those comments about the Hunter Campbell thing with threatening to strip guys of titles and stuff. He's really stirring the pot lately. Any quick thoughts before we get out of here, Marcel?
Yeah, apparently I heard that Ariel's nose was blocking Dana's view. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding, man.
Ariel's a good he's an okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with Ariel at all, guys. It's just a joke, I mean, I don't know what to think about it. It's like, it's like an ongoing thing with Dana and Ariel, It's I remember when they were best friends, and then remember when Tito didn't want to reply to an Ariel question, and Dana's like, "Oh, come on, Tito, reply to him. I love Ariel." That was back then, and now it's completely upside down, But it's just like it's a little bit childish from Dana's side as well, man. Why is he so bothered with the media all the time, man? And also the UFC, man, they are so horny when they see those stars in the audience, those celebrities, like, oh, there he is. Let's make a quick view. Oh, there's the other star, and there he comes, and there comes Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber so many times there. Steve O, man, he's an OG. He comes to first fight. He's there. I respect that, not these guys who come in to
clout chasing. I know there's a lot of clout chasers, but there was some guys like they're OGs, like you said, like Steve O. He's been a fan forever.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Bieber is a fan, but I don't believe in. I don't even think I can tell you one Justin Bieber song. That's what I'll tell you. Travis Barker was there. I don't think I need to see him making out French kissing with his girl. The Kardashian. I didn't need to see that. Yeah. That was a little bit too much. I thought they obviously did that, but it's not for me. But my girl loves People Magazine. She's like, hey, this is on People Magazine. That's why they did it. Marcel, let's get out of here. I'm going to plug myself, and I'll let you plug yours. You guys can follow me on Twitter at @MMARtin. And this podcast is, of course, always on MMAOBDailyPodcast.com. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify, iTunes, all those places. Be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern with Marcel to break down this weekend's UFC Vegas 31 Thiago Moises and Islam Makhachev card. Looking forward to talking about the card with you, Marcel. 11 fights there. Also, guys, bjpen.com, MyMMAnews.com, Elite Fantasy, Elite Sports Betting, Fantasy Fanatics. I'm just trying to think where else. My MMA News too. So a lot of places, guys. Of course, MMA Oddsbreaker, though, it's the home. Going to have a lot of stuff up this week. There's a lot of cards this week. And I'll also have AJ on Thursday to talk about Bellator and probably LFA a little bit too. Marcel, quickly wrap up and tell everyone where to find you.
Big Marcel24, Twitter, Instagram, MMA.nl, and Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you can find it. And make sure to watch tomorrow, same time.
Yep. Thanks, Marcel, again for joining me, man. Appreciate all the questions, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Peace.